walking beside you.
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, Sukhi Hontu. Thank you for joining us at 9:15 a.m. Please wish each other in the comments box. Say sadhu to everyone. To those of you who are joining us for the very first time, the digital team wish you have refreshing opening video to our online Dhamma events. This segment is called Voices of Blooms. In this segment, we are featuring talented songwriters or composers and singers of Buddhist groups, those who are singing the Buddhist songs. At this segment, the groups and the singers will be introduced. They will tell us about themselves, the group, and about the song. What are the inspirations regarding the song, especially to themselves and the group? This segment will be able to publicize Buddhist songs as wide as possible. This will also be an encouragement to talented Buddhists to use songs to promote Dhamma. Later, when we play the whole song, we would like you to sing along as we have prepared the lyrics for you. With that, I would like to introduce you the iGems, Brother Niwan. Brother Didi Niwan is a composer and is a co-founder of iGems. Please help me to welcome Brother Niwan. Over to you, Brother Niwan.
Hi, I'm Niwan. I'm one of the founders of iGems, the Buddhist music group. iGems started as a group of friends who came together to have fun and sing Buddhist songs. In fact, we came together as friends that want to just have fun together with Buddhist songs. We sang songs from the Wayfarers. We sang the hymns that were produced and sung, back in the day. From there, actually, it quickly became a mission of the group to want to inspire others through Dhamma music that we performed. So eventually, some of us from the group decided to write our own original songs, which then led to the production of our first album. And that first album was called Cradled in Buddha's Arms. Yeah. And that album has been out there for more than 15 years. Today, the songs from the album have been sung in many places and on many occasions. In fact, the inspiration from the songs have touched the lives of many and has spanned over 2 generations of listeners, from the old to the very young. And the songs have now been featured in many Dhamma events, charity events, dinners, as well as in Dhamma schools. So people who grew up from Dhamma schools, they actually sang the songs. For the feature today, I will be introducing the song Cradled in Buddha's Arms. This is the title of the album, but it's also one of the original songs that I have written. When I wrote this song, the words and the tune just flowed through my mind. In fact, one of the mornings I woke up and the song just came to me. And it is inspired by the Buddha himself. This song speaks about the relationship that I have with the Buddha. And it is one of gratitude to the compassion that he has for all beings. Remembering him and reflecting on the Dhamma, I feel close to him, as if the Buddha is cradling me in his arms. So, my dear friends, I hope you find inspiration from the song. Uh, Now, may the Buddha be in your heart, and may you be cradled in Buddha's arms. Please enjoy this tune, Cradled in Buddha's Arms.
Lord Buddha, you're here today to walk with me. I want to be walking beside you. You showed me the way to happiness. I just want to be with you. You've given me the precious gift of your truth. I promise to protect it with all my heart. And even when things seem to fall apart, I can always make a start. Lord Buddha, I feel safe in your arms. You have cradled me with your Dharma truth. I take refuge in my Lord. Lord Buddha, I'll never want to walk alone. And I know you're always here beside me. I'd rather be walking this path than others. You are here to show me the path you've shown. I walk today with joy. Together with my Lord, I can always be. And even if I don't see you often, you have never left me. Lord Buddha, I feel safe in your arms. You have cradled me with your Dharma truth. I take refuge in my Lord. Lord Buddha, I feel safe in your arms. You have cradled me with your Dharma truth. I take refuge in my Lord. I take refuge in my Lord.
Well, how is the song? Will you be able to sing along with the lyrics? As for myself, yes, I have totally enjoyed following the lyrics, taking refuge in Buddha and the compassion of Buddha. We hope you have enjoyed the song. That was how you feel. Brothers and sisters, make use of Buddhist songs in your centers, Sunday Dhamma schools, or your other events. For more information on iGEMS, you may have to get the information from your Facebooks. Next week, we are having our AGM. Therefore, we will not be having these segments or this Sunday Buddha Puja. Please check on your society's Facebook for information on the coming events. So I hope you enjoy yourself. We'll see you again in this featured segment, Voices of Blooms. Goodbye. Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters to the Dhamma. Good morning to everyone. Nice to see you again on another Sunday over Subang Jaya Buddhist Association Facebook Live. To those of you who had wished everyone in the comment box, sadhu to you. You may continue to wish each other now. It's good to be on time so that you will not miss out anything. Example, we had our earlier introduction video. To ensure clarity of audio and visual, please check your Wi-Fi reception. If you encounter problem with your poor audio and visual, it may be due to poor Wi-Fi reception. And you may need to refresh your computer or Wi-Fi device. During this online Buddha Puja service, remember to have a calm mind. Even if you are encountering the problem. Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. For those of you who have just joined us, we have organized this weekly online puja service in order to give an opportunity to Buddhist devotees near and far to continue with our Buddhist faith and practices and to listen to Dhamma sharing. Thank you for sharing the links with your children, relatives, friends on this weekly online Sunday Buddha Puja. Let us prepare ourselves, sitting comfortably and relax our bodies and compose our mind. Let go of thinking about the past and the future, but be in the present moment. And with that, I'll hand over to our puja leader, Sister Anne. Over to you, Sister Anne.
Thank you, Brother John. Good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Namo Buddhaya. Let us begin with our Sunday Buddha Puja. To the devotees who have prepared the offerings, you may light your candles and oil lamps and make your offerings to the Buddha. May I invite our President, Brother Jim, to make the offerings to the Buddha. To the other devotees, you may place your palms together in Anjali and contemplate mindfully. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, together let us pay homage to the Triple Gem. Budang Pujami, Dhammang Pujami, Sanghang Pujami. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us together take refuge in the Triple Gem and observe the 5 precepts. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Adinadana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Kamesu miccachara veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Suramiraya majjapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vidyacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manussanang buddho bhagavati. Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko ehipassiko oppanayiko pacchatang veditabbu vinyuhiti. Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Ujupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Nyayapatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Samicipatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Jadidang Jattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Puggala Esa Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakhineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttaram Punyaketang Lokasati. Vandami Chettiyang Sabbang Sabbatani Supatititang Saririka Datu Mahabodhin Buddha Rupang Sakalang Sada. Yasamule nisinova sabbari vicayang aka pato sabbanyotang satta vande tang bodhipadapang. Ime ete mahabodhi lokanatena pujita Ahampite namassami Bodhi Raja namattute. Ganasara paditena Dipena tamadansina Tiloka dipang sambuddhang Pujayami tamonudang. Ganda sambara yuttena duppena sugandhina pujaye pujaniyam tang puja bhajana muttamang. Vanna ganda gunopetang etang kusuma santating Pujayami mundindassa siripada sararuhe. Pujemi buddhang kusumena nena punyena mittena ca hottumokang uppang milayati yatha idang me kayo tattayati vinnasah bahwang. Adivasetuna bante paniyang parikapitang anukampang upadaya katigan hatumuttamang. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya khattam achayang kamame bante buripanya tathagata. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya khattam achayang kamame dhamma santitika akalika. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya khattam achayang kamame sangha supatipanna anuttara. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. This morning, we are very pleased to have Brother Tan Siang Chye to be with us for this Sunday Buddha Puja. Brother Siang Chye will be giving a Dhamma talk this morning on associating with the wise, which is about seeking good and wise companionship and mentorship along the spiritual path. Please allow me to introduce Brother Siang Chye. Brother Siang Chye began his former Buddhist education as a student of the Buddhist Institute, Sunday Dhamma School, Brickfields, KL, at the age of 12. Among his early teachers were the late Venerable Kestri Dhammananda and also Venerable Guna Ratana. He joined the Buddhist Missionary Youth section at the BMV after completing his tertiary studies and served as a vice chairman and then the chairman. He also served in the ESCO of the parent body, BMSM. Brother Siang Chye was also a former executive committee member of Subang Jaya Buddhist Association, heading the Dhamma subcommittee, and was later appointed as a lay advisor of SJPA. Currently, he is the director of Nalanda Institute, the education arm of Nalanda Buddhist Society. Brother Siang Chye is a striving meditator and active in sharing the Dhamma at various Buddhist centers in Malaysia and Singapore. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, if you have any question regarding the talk, you may type your questions in the comment section. We shall pose the questions to Brother Siang Chye after the Dhamma talk. We are now pleased to invite Brother Siang Chye to deliver the Dhamma talk associating with the wise. Over to you, Brother Siang Chye. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Brother Chim. Good morning, dear Dhamma brothers, dear Dhamma sisters, good friends in the Dhamma. I'm very happy to be once again on a wonderful Sunday morning to share some of my understanding of the Dhamma with all of you. It is actually a privilege to be able to share Dhamma with brothers and sisters who really are interested to understand the Dhamma deeper and in a more significant way in order to change the way we see the world, and also in order to change our lives. The topic is associating with the wise, and there are a few. Can you change the next slide, please? Yes, there are a few questions which will be important for us to follow as we go through my presentation. So these are in the form of questions, and as we discuss the topic, I hope to answer these questions. Yeah, but if I don't, please, and if there's anything that arises which you don't quite understand, please ask them as your own questions. Firstly, is it important to have good friends and companions when we embark on the spiritual journey? That is, when we come to a society, when we come to a Buddhist center, and we know that there is a crowd, there is an assembly there of many different Buddhists, is it necessary that we get to know them? And at the same time, when we participate in the Buddhist activities, do we have to make friends? Do we have to reach out to others as we learn about the Dhamma, as we learn the Buddha's teachings? Is it important, significant for us to make friends with other Buddhists as we go on our journey of learning more and more about the Buddha's teachings? First question. The second question is, as we mix with people that are like us, we begin to understand that we should go to look for a person that has more knowledge, that has more understanding and experience of the practice of the Buddha's teachings. So the question is it important to have a teacher or mentor? It doesn't mean that this person takes the role of a teacher all the time. He or she could be a mentor. Yeah, just give advice when you are not sure of anything. Yeah, just to ask questions, and maybe this person, without you asking any questions, this person can clarify, can explain things that are not so clear to you. So is it important to have a teacher or mentor when we walk the path? The next question is, how do we know whether a person is really a good or wise teacher or not? Because there are so many teachers around. Some people, they take on because they want to guide others. But how do we know that these are people that we should follow? And when we follow them, are we going to learn the right things? Because as we look around us, there are many well-meaning people. They have good heart, and they want to share their understanding with other Buddhists. But is what they are teaching the right way? The right knowledge to be imparted to other Buddhists. Then, how do we know that our relationship with teachers, mentors, and spiritual friends are beneficial to us in the way that we want? This is also another important question for us to ask. So, dear friends, as we walk along this path, as we get to know more about the Buddha's teachings, questions must arise in our minds. We cannot just blindly follow and say that everything which you hear or know is the right, is in the right form as taught by the Buddha. So important in this practice is also your own effort in putting it into your lives. So that we call the practice of the Buddha's teachings. So as we practice the Buddha's teachings, what is happening to us? This is an important question which we should ask. And if we are not getting the right answer, we must look for the right teacher. Because sometimes teachers, they are not able to answer certain questions. I also admit that I can't answer every question that is asked to me. So you have to look for other teachers, wiser ones, more experienced ones. They are the ones who have dedicated their lives to studying and practice of the Buddha's teachings. So these are the important questions that will guide today's discussion. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned earlier, good friends and good teachers, what part do they play? So we know that in our lives, we accepted that when we want to learn things, we must look for people who are more knowledgeable and experienced to guide us. Our first teachers are our parents. When we are young, when we are still very ignorant about a lot of things, our parents introduce the world to us. And in very many ways, their views of the world are also imparted to us, which means how they see it, they will pass on to us. But we also need to ask the question, is what we are learning from our parents enough to show us the right way, to really have a deeper understanding about the nature of the world? This is also an important question for us. We then learn from school teachers. When we go to school, our school teachers will teach us, and the friends that we make around us. But bear in mind, not everything that we learn from such people will bring us happiness. And sometimes we learn things that are not wholesome and not good things, which will also bring us pain and hardship. So we learn good things, but at the same time, we also know we are learning things that are not good, wholesome, not wholesome. And therefore, we need to be able to differentiate. What are the good things that we are learning? And what are the things that have the potential to bring us more pain, more difficulty, more challenges in our own lives? Then eventually, as we go on in the world, we find that all these things that we have learned are not enough. And so we start asking deeper questions, and we start looking for more knowledgeable mentors and teachers in our lives. So these are important people indeed, in my mind, in my personal opinion. Next, please. So on this journey, the Buddha said that it is important. This is the Buddha's advice. The Buddha himself said it is important to have good support and good companionship. The right support, the right companionship, which means the right form of friendship within the Buddhist circles, will ensure that the person, us, will be successful in developing meaningful, and eventually we will come closer and closer to the goal that we are seeking. So at this point, I would just want to highlight my teacher, whom I am very grateful for. Most of you might know him. He is the late Venerable Dr. K. Sri Dhammananda Mahanayaka Thero, who was also very closely associated with Subhangjaya Buddhist Association. In fact, he used to come every Wednesday night to SJBA from the BMV in order to teach those people who wanted to listen to him at the SJBA. So he dedicated a lot of his time to SJBA as well. So from Venerable Sir, we used to call him Chief. I learned a lot. And he laid a very good foundation for most of us, or those who are English-speaking Buddhists, will in some way find that the roots will lead back to Venerable Dr. K. Sri Dhammananda. So I pay my respects to him, because he was such a wonderful teacher that opened up my path to understanding the Dhamma. Next, please. So I would like to share with you a little section of the Upada Sutta. And the Upada Sutta means half of the holy life. And the situation goes like this. Once the Venerable Ananda was with the Buddha, and they went to a monastery where there were many monks. Some of the monks were new monks, and some of the monks were experienced monks, had been with the Sangha for some years. And as the Venerable Ananda saw this sight, new monks, who have just ordained with the experienced monks, he said to the Buddha, Lord, I think, the Venerable Ananda said, this is half of the holy life. Admirable friendship, admirable companionship, admirable camaraderie. So this was the Venerable Ananda's opinion when he saw the new monks, the young monks, and the more experienced monks mixing together. He says, this is half of it. If you become a monk, half of the value of your experience is that you find good friends. Then the Buddha, he corrected the Venerable Ananda. He said, don't say that, Ananda. Don't say that. Admirable friendship, admirable companionship, admirable camaraderie is actually the whole of the holy life. When a monk has admirable people as friends, companions, and colleagues, he can be expected to develop and pursue the Noble Eightfold Path. So this is a very different view indeed from the very common view that monks must be solitary, that monks must go out and be by himself, and the nuns also, that the monks and nuns must be alone, must not associate with others. He will be going into nature, go into the forest and meditate, by himself, and not have anything to do with others. This is a very different view, because when you know this, you will know the value that the Buddha put onto the ability to have good Dhamma friends. Because when you have good support from mentors, teachers, and friends, you will be happy to walk the Dhamma path. And so, I say that because in my experience, there are times when I found that there were many attractions in my life. I was being pulled towards other things, other activities, other things to do. But I am very lucky in that I have good Dhamma friends who would remind me, and sometimes they would ring me up and say, there is a good talk going on in such and such a center. Let us go and listen. The person who is giving the talk is a learned monk, is a learned teacher. And then I'll say, no, I got other things to do. They say, no, this is a good chance. After that, this monk might travel, to other places. You must come. So they pulled me along. And I was very, very grateful because very often the talks that I heard from these great teachers went into my mind and allowed me to understand better and to be nearer to the Dhamma and to be more and more dedicated and committed to learning and practicing the Dhamma. So we need to have a group of friends. We need to have friends that are having the same mindset, that think along the same way. If we get friends that are more interested to doing other things, we will also be influenced by them. And when we say to them, I want to go to the Buddhist center, they will say, no need to go. You want to become monk? They will ask you this sort of question. Come, we go and have dim sum better. Yeah, let us go to do other more enjoyable things. Yeah, we will go and go up Genting Islands. Yeah, they have a lot of enjoyable things up there. So we must choose, if we are interested to walk the Dhamma path, we must choose our friends wisely. That doesn't mean we cut off the other friends. The friends that we play sports, go and yam cha and have dinner or lunch. It doesn't mean that we cut them off. But we must develop one group of friends that are always sharing with us the same interest in Dhamma activities, so that when one side calls us, we can have the balance of another side. And if we only listen to one who say, "Come, let's go and play golf," yeah, no need to go to the SJBA. Yeah, then we will always be golfing, and then our religion, becomes golf. Yeah, and we will forget about other things. But when we have a good spread of friends, we have spiritual friends, we have friends that we can have lunch or dinner with, it's very good. And then later on, you will see that if the Dhamma means a lot to you, you will start seeing that we move closer to the Dhamma friends. Because with the Dhamma friends and the Dhamma activities, we have a more satisfying life. We can't be enjoying ourselves all the time. We must find a certain amount of peace in the Dhamma activities. And that is where these Dhamma friends come in. They will call us. They will remind us. Yeah, they will advise us. Come, how many times you want to go and do, all those enjoyable things. It's time for you to find real happiness, to find a deeper peace, in the Dhamma. And we are the people who will support that. And so I'm very lucky. I'm very grateful that I have this group of friends. And we keep in contact through WhatsApp. And if there is a great teacher coming, we share on the WhatsApp. And sometimes we will just share messages or videos that we see in the YouTube. We constantly remind each other. And as we go on in life, we celebrate birthdays together. And that is a great reminder. You celebrate each other's birthdays, and then you look, you are not getting any younger. So these friends will be with you. And I have seen, even in the case of funerals, where we send away the people that we know and are dear to us. And in the case of my parents, the people who came in the crowds when my father and mother passed away were mainly Dhamma friends who came. And so we can be assured that when we have these good friends, they stay with us really right until the end. Okay, next one. Next slide, please. In the very popular Mangala Sutta, the Buddha has explained the importance of associating with the wise. And he used this word in the Pali language. The word is pandita, pandit. And it has been incorporated into the English language. A very clever person is called a pandit. And sometimes we go to the pandits to get advice on how to buy share. This pandit says, buy more of this share. But the original source point is actually in the Indian language, pandita. And in the first verse of the Mangala Sutta, where the Buddha explained about blessing, we always think that blessing comes from above us, from somebody that is up there. Or we think that blessing comes from the things that we wear, and the certain objects. But the Buddha said, no, the real blessing comes from what you do, comes from how you think. And so in the first verse of this advice on blessing, the Mangala Sutta, the Buddha said not to associate with the fools. If you associate with them, you will go very far down the wrong path. Asevana cha balanam. Bala is fools. Panditanam cha sevana. Mix with, associate with those who are wise. To honor those who are worthy of honor. Those who are practicing, those who are knowledgeable, those who have more wisdom than us, we must honor them. So, etang mangala muttamang. This is the greatest blessing. The Buddha advised us, everyone, in this wonderful sutta. So, he places a lot of importance because he knows. And even in the sutta called the Siga Lovada Sutta, which is an advice given to a lay person, a young man. He said to this young man all through the sutta that if you are mixing with the wrong people, the chances that you will end up in not a good place is very high. Because friends influence us a lot. Our companions, our associates influence us a lot. So it is important. Don't think that the Buddha just wants us to go off into the quiet place and meditate and do our own reading. The Buddha said, your friends are those people who will change, who will influence the way that you see the world. So therefore, don't associate with the foolish, because you will get a lot of foolish ideas. You will always go, through them, you will go down the wrong path. But he says, associate with the wise, the pandita, who will always give you good ideas, ideas that will benefit you. Next, please. So there are a few places in the Buddha's teachings where he said, this is the advice he said. In the Anguttara Nikaya, he said, there is no other thing, the Buddha said, that is so much responsible for the arising of unwholesome qualities in the person as bad friendship. He emphasizes this. And then in the next passage, also in the Anguttara Nikaya, again he says that he sees no other external factor that leads to harm as bad friendship, and no other external factor that leads to so much benefit as good friendship. So my dear brothers and sisters, let us reflect now. Who are the people that advise us to do good? Who are the people that advise us not to do so much good? In fact, there are people who advise us, no need to go to the Buddhist center so often. These are not giving good advice. Let us reflect what we have learned from this type of advice, how it has affected our lives. And in the Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha says, it is through the influence of a good friend that a disciple is led along the Noble Eightfold Path to release from all suffering. So I have had wonderful friends, wonderful teachers who are very dedicated to the study and the practice of the Buddha's teachings. And some of them have progressed very, very well along the path of the practice. And they have gained certain knowledge. They are able to see things due to their own efforts. They have read the things in the books and they have seen it for themselves personally as their own experience. And so they explain to me, this is what you must do. This is the way that the Buddha wanted us to actually experience the nature of the truth in our lives. So there are many people competing for our attention. Some will say this, some will say that. And the great question is, who are the people that we must follow? And I will say something about this in a short while. It is a very important question for us to find the answer to. Next, please. Such a wonderful picture. This is the old monk encouraging the the young monks, because in some countries, some people go into the monkhood, the Sangha, at a very, very young age. At the age of sometimes 10, 11, they already come into the fold of the Sangha. So in the Dhammapada, in this verse, it is said, it's good to see the noble ones, happy their company always. So when we find good monks, we must associate with them because they will inspire us. Their whole lives is given over to the Buddha, is given over to the Dhamma, and the Sangha embraces them so that they will walk this path, which will take this person, this monk, to a very good place. Through not seeing fools constantly, again, the Buddha reminds us, keep away from those foolish people. Constantly, one would be happy. For living with a fool, it is said, one grieves a long time. Painful is communion with fools, as with an enemy, always. Happy is communion with the enlightened, as with a gathering of kin. So, the enlightened man, discerning, learned, enduring, beautiful, noble, and intelligent, a man of integrity. Once you have identified him, follow him. One of this sort, follow this type, as the moon follows the path of the zodiac stars. The moon follows the stars. So once you find somebody like that, a really good teacher, you must follow him. The advice of Dhammapada verse 206. Next, please. So here is a list. I'm going through it very fast so that we can get to the meaningful parts. And later on, you can ask as many questions as you want. I'm sure questions will arise in your mind as you go through this sharing. So, good spiritual teachers in my mind, and this is through my experience, and I have asked learned Buddhists about this. How do you identify? And the Buddha has advice as well. But I have brought all these things together in this slide, which I would like to share with you. The first question, the first thing you look for is the teacher's understanding based on right view? And the Pali word for right view is samaditthi. Samaditthi is the first factor in the Noble Eightfold Path. This is the medicine which the Buddha has given to us, passed on to us as the antidote, the medicine for our suffering. So in our perspective, when we look for a good teacher, we have to look closely. Is this teacher's explanation, is the sharing, is the teaching based on right view? And this right view has a few components. Does the teacher emphasize the Four Noble Truths? Because if the teacher emphasizes, base the teachings, base his or her knowledge and sharing on the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path, of which right view is the first factor, you can be sure that this person has very solid grounding in the Dhamma. And even though little or a lot, those teachings will never be wrong, will never take you to an unwholesome place. So therefore, it's important. Because the Buddha said, if you have wrong view, the opposite of right view is wrong view. Miccha ditthi, wrong view. Everything that you do will not give you happiness, will not make you feel happy and light. So make sure that everything that the teacher teaches is based on the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. That the teacher, this mentor, really emphasizes the nature of this world, the truth of this world. There is dukkha or unsatisfactoriness. There is suffering. And we see that. So the depth of the teacher's understanding is the depth of the understanding of dukkha. This is an important factor. So if the teacher based everything on the understanding of suffering, on the cause of suffering, which is attachment or craving, that there is really an end to suffering. And your teacher might have experienced the end of suffering himself or herself too. He or she might not tell you directly because it's not allowed, but through your dealings, through your association, through your discussions, you might get a hint that he or she understands personally the experience of the end of suffering. Then this teacher emphasizes the Noble Eightfold Path. Nothing else. Don't go to other places. Only follow the Noble Eightfold Path, the straight and the narrow. It's very important. Yeah. Nowadays, we have this problem of cults, C-U-L-T-S. And these cults teach everything except the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. Once the person, this teacher, starts to teach other things, you better run for the door. If there is Four Noble Truths and Noble Eightfold Path being taught, sit down and be comfortable and listen. But if this teacher says, I can give you more material wealth, I can make you richer, I can bring you wealth, and then you start asking, what about the Four Noble Truths? Oh no, that one later. Then you will know this is not based on right view. So you should start having doubts in that kind of teacher. Next, does the teacher have wisdom? Go back to the slide. Next point. Does the teacher have wisdom, integrity, and truthfulness? This is sometimes not easy to see because the person, from the outside might seem to be a very good person. But you have to follow the person to see if this person speaks the truth all the time. Not just speak the truth, acts according to the truth all the time. That means to say, what they say and what they do are the same. Yeah, there are teachers who will teach you, do as I tell you, but don't do as I do. What I do is my business. But when I tell you something, you go and do it. That is not the right attitude. So look at the teacher. Look carefully. Yeah, you might be a little bit suspicious at first, but that's okay because you are trying to answer the suspicion. Does this teacher follow the precepts? Yeah, say and do according to the Dhamma, the teachings, all the time. So you can be a little bit of a spy. Go and keep the eye on the teacher. Is he doing things that he doesn't want us to know? This is a very important aspect. So there are no perfect teachers, but there are teachers who do try. I correct myself. There are some perfect teachers, right? But amongst us, it's difficult to find the perfect teacher. So there are those who are trying and they acknowledge their own faults. So it's important. The satya, this word satya also means truthfulness. Meaning to say, when this person says, I will do it, he or she actually will do it. There are no empty promises. When they say they will be there, by this time, this person will be there. So to keep the word, to keep a promise, is a reflection of Satya. So this kind of teacher is very, very good. This kind of teacher is the one you should follow. These are the friends who also practice Satya. And if they practice Satya, you are in good company. Because when they say that they are going to do good things, they will actually do good. And if you follow them, you will follow them to the good. Don't follow those who will take you to the unwholesome places. So that Satya is very, very important too. Next, does he or she practice morality committedly? Does he or she display anger easily? Is the virtue well established in this person? So what is that quality? It is the quality of sila. Meaning to say, the precepts are very important. He or she will not break the precepts easily. Sometimes maybe we are not perfect, as we said. Through a mistake, accidentally, we might break one precept. But on the whole, this person values the precepts, takes the precepts very seriously. But because we are not enlightened, we sometimes unmindfully can make a mistake. And then this person will feel very, very sorry for breaking that precept. That is the sign of a good teacher. Follow the precepts. Will at no cost will he or she purposely break the precept. Purposely, knowingly that it is not right, he or she want to do it. That is not the sign of a good teacher or a good friend. I used to have a friend who loves to steal other people's fruits. Yes, during my school days, he would be very good at climbing trees to steal other people's rambutan, steal other people's mango. And I say to him, look, don't steal their things, because I would be quite embarrassed. I would walk with him and suddenly, hey, what happened to him? And he would, look, he's up the tree, trying to pull down some people's jambu or something. And I said, look, don't steal. I buy for you. I'll go and buy, and then we eat the fruits together. And then he said, no, if you steal, tastes better. What to do with this type of friend? So although I see him as a good friend, I also know the good friend's faults. Eventually he gave up. He didn't want to steal other people's fruits anymore, because one day he went up a coconut tree which was quite tall, and the owner came and shouted at him, and he had to jump down from quite high. Luckily he didn't hurt himself, and then he ran away. He told me this. He said, no, I had to run away very fast. So sila is very important. The next quality is, does this teacher or the friend, your companion, have impeccable faith in the three jewels? In the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Is the faith, is the confidence strong, and not open to wavering, not open to unsure? Is the Buddha really enlightened? They will ask this question. Why should I keep on coming every Sunday? The person talk on and on and on about doing good, avoiding evil, purifying the mind. They have their doubts. So a good teacher might not know everything, but the saddha, this word, meaning confidence, meaning faith in the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, are very, very strong to his or her own extent. They have that unbreakable, unchallengeable, unwavering faith in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. They will only go to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha as refuge. They won't go to any other place, any other being, any other source for their refuge. Yeah, only the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, the three jewels. And lastly, here is also, it's also very important. Does the teacher show the qualities, the caring of a good friend? When they hear that you want to do something not so good, they will rush to you and say, hey, think carefully what you are going to do. Does this person show compassion and patience, care and goodwill, yeah, towards you, towards what you want to do? So they are having the qualities of metta and karuna. They just want you to be well. And if you are not well, they don't feel happy. They want to come and comfort you. So these 5 qualities I have found are important to identify in a good teacher. The good teacher is all about you, or all about benefiting the student or the disciple or the follower. They are not so concerned about themselves. What am I going to get out of it? They are not so concerned. But sometimes, after I have run the course, the students get together and they buy a little present for me. And I feel very grateful, for this present. In the olden days, it was the custom that when you go to learn from a teacher, the teacher doesn't charge anything. When the course is over, the program is over, the students will get together and buy a gift. Yeah, it's called the Guru Dakina. And I'm always very grateful when I get a little gift. And sometimes it's not little gift. Yeah, I'm very surprised. It is actually a valuable gift. And I feel so grateful, thankful, that people value what I'm sharing so much. But even to my teachers, I try my best to offer them something, to show my gratitude, to show my care for them. Because as I mentioned, I have wonderful teachers. I'm very lucky. Teachers who have changed the way that I see the world. So therefore, I also want to give them something, that will make the physical life, more comfortable. Okay, next slide. Before that, the last line there. But be aware, you can only judge another person's integrity if you develop some of your own. So that means if you really want to assess, appraise, really want to see other people, you yourself must have some good quality. So develop those good qualities. Observe your precepts. Increase your knowledge. Mix with those who are wholesome, and on the path, so that you develop these qualities. And then you can start to judge others. Because you already have good qualities. And then you can try to judge them according to what you already have. So somebody's sila might be higher than you. Then you want to achieve that level of sila or satya or saddha or samadhi or metta as well. So develop something first. Good qualities first. Next, please. So unskillful teachers. And this is from the Nava Sutta. I would like to briefly take brothers and sisters through this. In this sutta, the Buddha identifies an unskillful teacher. He said, but by following an inferior and foolish teacher who has not gained fine understanding of the Dhamma and is envious of others, one will approach death without, that means the follower or the student, that person will approach death without comprehending the Dhamma and the unrelieving of doubt. So the doubt still remains doubtful. And the simile is like this. If a man going down into a river The river is swollen with water and swiftly flowing. And if this man is carried away by the current, how can he help others cross? He himself got problem. And then you go and ask him, please help me. Cannot. Because he is already trying to swim to stay above the water. So even so, the Buddha says, he who has not comprehended the Dhamma, has not paid attention to the meaning as expounded by the learned, being himself without knowledge and unrelieved of doubt, how can he make others understand? So here the Buddha places it squarely, without any doubt. He doesn't mince his words. He doesn't just want to make it sound nice. He said, this person is already trying to stay afloat. And then you go and ask him, help me stay afloat. It is not the right person to ask. Next, please. In the same sutta, the Buddha says, but if the man at the river knows the method and is skillful and wise, by boarding a strong boat, yeah, I hope I have got a nice picture here, equipped with the oar and the rudder, he can, with its help, set others across. So he is a boatman, and he knows how to take others across the swollen, the swiftly flowing river. Even so, he who is experienced and has a well-trained mind, who is learned and dependable, clearly knowing, he can help others to understand, who are willing to listen and ready to receive. Surely, therefore, one should associate with a good man who is wise and learned, by understanding the meaning of what one has learned and practiced. Accordingly, one who has Dhamma experience attains supreme happiness. So this is what the Buddha advised. Look for those who are way above us, who have many, many years, decades of practice, who is so dedicated to the Dhamma that he or she is willing to wear the orange robe. And you can identify him by the color. Yeah, this color is described as the color of the Arahants. So if they are so dedicated to the holy life, they must be good teachers. The other day, I was talking to one of my friends, and he spent some time, about a month or so, as a novice monk, yeah, in northeast, the north of Thailand. And he said, in the place that he was a novice, the abbot told him that there are many monks, yeah, out in the jungle, in the forest, very far away. Yeah, so much so that if one gets into trouble, yeah, you cannot hear this person crying out, because from one hut to another hut, it's a great distance. But they will come down, they will walk hours to come down to join the monks in the main monastery to go for the alms round. And this is the practice in northern Thailand. So he said to my friend, he said, there are times when we gather for to go out for the alms round, and one monk will not appear. And then he knows something has happened to this monk. Either a wild animal has attacked him, or he has slipped and fallen, knocked his head, and maybe would have died. Or a snake, yeah, might have bitten him. And yet these people will stay in those conditions, in the forest, in the quiet, supported by only alms, yeah, that they collect every day. And then when they come back, they have their meal, and they will go back for their practice. These people are 100%. They don't mind dying, yeah, in order to achieve their goal. They are not afraid of death. Yeah. And when they come back after they have attained their goal, these would make the best teachers, yeah, that you could possibly find, yeah, as Dhamma practitioners walking the path. Next, please. So it is not just sharing about good teachers in this talk. I would also like to talk about good students. What we on our side will have to do, will have to accomplish in order to learn what we want to learn. The characteristic of good students are such. Number one, they have great interest in the Dhamma. They are always wanting to learn more and more. The interest is always kept active in their mind. Can I read a book? Can I listen to a talk? Can I do my own meditation practice? Next, this person has the ability to remain alert and focused. That means when it is time to listen, when it is time to learn, he or she will learn. There's nothing else for this person to be associated with. Then he has confidence and respect in the teacher. And this is very important, especially when we go to the practice of meditation. In the practice of meditation, our mind will take us to places we are not familiar with. And therefore, we must have faith in the teacher, because sometimes if we don't have faith, even the slightest experience that we are uncomfortable with, we will run away from the meditation center. We run away from the meditation teacher. But if we have confidence, we have respect to the teacher says, do this, we will do it. And eventually, what we find is, yes, it will lead us to understanding the Dhamma even more. And then the good student will abandon wrong attitudes. That is, when he or she learns that what they have been doing in the past is not right, we let it go so that good attitudes can come in. Then we maintain a conducive condition for learning. That means we maintain ourselves, we maintain our environment. We are going out drinking until late in the night or even late in the morning, and then next day coming for Sunday puja is not the right condition. Or going out and entertaining yourself until you are very sleepy and not alert, and then you go and listen to the talk, then you will keep asking people, what did they say? This is not conducive condition for learning. And lastly, as I said, connected to the earlier one, you eliminate the unconducive conditions. You have learned that there are certain things not right to your study and practice. Certain things that are not compatible will not help you. You have this kind of practices or things in your life, you will let it go. Because you only want to go one way. You don't want to go 2 ways or 3 ways. Then you confuse yourself. You don't know which way to go after that. If you really want to go the way of the Noble Eightfold Path, things that are not conducive, makes you sleepy, makes you confused, you will want to give those things up. You will only do those things that will help in your learning, help in your practice of the Noble Eightfold Path. Next, please. So with that, I would like to end this sharing about mixing with good companions. The Buddha said it is important to find good companions and good teachers. Because as we wander around in samsara, we have mixed with not good teachers. We have mixed with the wrong teachers before. That is why we are wandering here, wandering there, and we take the wrong road, the detour, lencongan. Yeah, we take a detour, and then we go far away, and then we realize, oh, this is not the right way. We come back, and then we stay with the right way for as long as we can. We've been doing that again and again through many, many lives. So as we come to a good center, a center that is dedicated towards the welfare of the members, towards the welfare of those who come and participate. We should bear in mind these things that I have just discussed with dear Dhamma brothers and sisters. What are the qualities of a great teacher? We can have teacher number one, and then we can have lesser teachers. But always remember the value of your great teacher. There are other teachers we can learn from, but here is the wisest teacher. And that wisest teacher is the one that we should go to set the benchmark. He is the best teacher, the most experienced, the most knowledgeable, have practiced right until the goal. So, but there are other teachers that we can discuss with. We can discuss, do you know something? And then this person say, yeah, I know a little bit. I can talk to you. Then we can listen. But always remember that high teacher, the experienced teacher must be the benchmark of which you will set the requirements of your main teacher. The one that you will always go to for inspiration and to answer the hardest question. Because not every teacher can answer, as I told you, can answer every question. But there are certain teachers whose knowledge and understanding is so deep, they can answer almost every question. Because they have been there. They have gone through that problem. They have visited that place. So they know about the nature of problems. Therefore, they are in the perfect position to guide us. So once we find those wonderful teachers, make sure that you value them. Especially those who have given their lives to the Dhamma. What more can you ask of them? They are not interested in family. They are not interested in wealth. They are not interested in name. All they are interested in is to follow the Buddha's teachings until the very end. So if you find a teacher like that, you must give value. You must pay respect to that teacher. With that, I thank my sharing. Thank you so much for your kind attention in listening to what I have to share. Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Brother Siang Chye, for this very interesting, educational and inspirational Dhamma talk with so many scriptural references and also good examples to help us understand this subject better. And now is a Q&A session. Any question from our devotees? Yeah, there's one from Brother Leong Yu Ming. Can one have good support and companionship when one is one man's island?
I would say, as I hope you have been listening, right at the beginning, you cannot be your own island because you have so many things to learn. Brother Chim just now introduced me, and I was very lucky that at the age of 12, I was taken to a Sunday Dhamma school by my uncle and my parents. My uncle had been very active in the Buddhist activity. So he said to my parents, let's take the kids to the vihara. And from that day, I found that, the learning was so interesting. I found that I felt that I had come home. Because when young, the experience of religion, let me tell you, this also is quite interesting. My first experience of the formal religion is Christianity. And that is because my mother studied in a convent and the nuns loved her very much. So when I was young, there were all these white robed nuns going through my house and they gave me books and all kinds of things, and I always found that it was interesting, but it never really stuck into my mind. The other experience of religion was my grandmother. She was a very devout follower of customs and practices that we grow up with. Of course, she would say that she's Buddhist, but there were a lot of Taoists and general practices. And I can remember she pulled me through a crowded temple, smoky, with all the joss stick and the burning and all that, and my eyes could hardly open because of the smoke. And she said, burn this joss stick. I put the joss stick. Burn this paper. I burn the paper. And to me, it's Christianity or this burning, all these practices. But when I went to meet late Chief Reverend, our lives changed. We were very different in the religious practices. After that, and I enjoyed learning from my teachers. I had very, very good Sunday Dhamma school teachers. They were laymen, and there were always 2 sessions. One was Life of the Buddha, about 1 hour, and then we have a break with some tea and biscuits, and then we would have the Dhamma after that. So I enjoyed Life of the Buddha because they were stories. The Dhamma was a little bit harder because very, very dry. But I could remember what my teacher taught me. So it's good to have a solid grounding. Learn from teachers. Learn from companions. Then you feel confident in what you are going to do. And then only you can be your own island, because at the end of the day, at the end of it all, the only person who will be with you in your practice is you. Therefore, develop this confidence. Don't be shaky. And when certain things you are not sure, you get scared. And then run away and stop doing this, all these things that you have learned. You must have that confidence. You must have this great faith that although you encounter problems and a little bit of confusion, it will arise because that's the nature of the human mind. There is doubt in your mind. You have the background to overcome it. When you have doubt and you have no foundation to overcome it, number one, the very least is you will get stuck. Number 2 is you give up. And I have seen people giving up because their faith is not strong, their understanding is not strong. They converted to other religions because not strong. And the Buddha's teachings is not easy. Let me tell you, it's something that I have experienced. You have to study and you have to practice. It doesn't fall from the sky. So therefore, a lot of effort must be put in to advance. In the first years, when you meet the good teachers, you feel very inspired by them. Then you want to put in the effort. So when you put in the effort to study and practice, you will very often, different people have different challenges. You will find that there will be doubts in your mind. So therefore, before you become your own island, your foundation must be solid, must be strong. It must be able to support you in overcoming the problems, because there are so many strange things in our minds. The mind can trick us. So therefore, when those tricks start to appear, we must go back to our reference point, which is the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And you must be able to carry the 3 jewels with you. Wherever you go, it must be here. So that whenever you are met with challenges, these 3 jewels will come forward to protect you and guide you again. So I hope that is an appropriate answer to you. Have good foundation first. And then you can, like those monks I told you about, go and practice. Even if you practice in your own room and nobody disturbs you, that is good. That can also be, being your own island. You don't have to go into the deep jungle in order to be your own island. Okay, next please.
Thank you, Brother Siang Chye. The next question comes from Brother Hai Ing. How do we detect false monks or Dhamma teachers or teaching. Tibetans speak about attain enlightenment through sexual pleasures that are practiced by high lamas. Does this contradict the third precept?
Oh, yes. You must go back to the slide where I outlined the 5 qualities, right? And for the monks, what we term third precept for them is complete celibacy. If they break the precept that the Buddha is not established by professor or lecturers or learned elders, the precepts were established by the Buddha himself, who said that if you want to become a monk, you cannot pursue sensual pleasures. So therefore, I hope you have your answer. Throughout the 2,600 years since the Buddha passed, passing away, there have been many changes, and I will say it, corruptions to the study and the practice. So people want to have the best of the two worlds. They want to be enlightened and they want to have sexual pleasures. So I can ask you, is it possible? If you have some kind of understanding, you can answer this question by yourself. If the sila is not perfect, how can they have perfect understanding? If they are easily swayed by the attractions, the distractions of the world, how can they go to the further shore? How can they cross this swirling river? It's not possible. To cross the river, you must be focused. You must be dedicated. So, as I said, there are cults. And some people are very attracted to the cults because they think that they can get the best of both worlds. I can get enlightened and I can enjoy myself. But it doesn't work. Why? Yeah, the Buddha said it doesn't work. So what have these people do? They have modified the Buddha's teachings. They have put it to a second place. And then they introduce their own teachings. And then they say, follow me. Yeah, I have these teachings. But they are very good Tibetan monks. Please don't get me wrong. Like the Dalai Lama. So his teachings can be relied on. But these people who come with the wife, come with the children, and then said, I'm this kind of Rinpoche, whatever, I would recommend that you can give them a little bit of ang pao, whatever, but please don't go and follow them. Don't go and practice what they are preaching to you. So these 5 things, I hope, can guide us. Are their teachings based on samadhi, the understanding of the Four Noble Truths, the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path? Do they have satya? When they say, they do. They don't like say now and then behind the door they do something else. Do they have sila? Do they have faith in the 3 jewels? So much so that if you want to kill them, they would not give up the 3 jewels. They will always have the refuge of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Yeah, when there were invaders to the great, these people, the invaders, saw the Buddhist monks and they said, will you give up your teaching? If you don't give up your teaching, I will chop your head off. They didn't give up. Thousands of monks died that way. So what is chopping your head compared to sensual pleasure? Which is easier? Which is braver? Yeah, I would rather, put my trust on those people who are brave, who are not afraid of death, who would still follow the Four Noble Truths and Noble Eightfold Path, who have karuna for the disciples. Karuna means compassion, by not leading them into a downward path. The compassion is to always lead them upwards, not downwards. So I hope you have your answer with this explanation.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Siang Chye, for the excellent answer. And this question, Brother Siang Chye, can a student gain enlightenment by learning and guided by a teacher who is not enlightened himself? We know there are many examples in sports, for example, in athletics or boxing, like the late Muhammad Ali. The trainer is not necessarily a champion or former champion, but they train the trainers to be champions. Is it possible that in the Buddhist cultivation, that a teacher who himself is not enlightened but can train the students to be enlightened eventually?
This question is very tricky. Yeah, and to answer it properly, there must be a few different levels. Yeah. The first level is no. Yeah, I will tell you. Yeah, that there are teachers. Yes, I'm not enlightened, and therefore I cannot lead people. I'm not confident to lead people to enlightenment. So therefore, I can only teach you so much. On Sunday, I can only teach you this. If you really want to go for the higher levels of enlightenment, you have to look for a teacher who is enlightened. That is the straightforward answer. Because if they have walked this path, they will be able to guide you along the path. My experience of the path is very limited. I cannot take people with me because I am already struggling along this path to advance myself. So it is very difficult. Number two, what about the good student? There are some exceptional students, like those athletes, and you give them a little bit, they will go very far. So there are, I think, I dare not put it as a definite case study. There are unenlightened teachers who have produced enlightened students. By that, I mean the unenlightened teacher is able to explain the steps or along the way in a theoretical method. To advance along the path towards enlightenment, there are certain procedures. There is an SOP, as it were. There is an SOP. And some teachers are able to guide the person according to what he or she has learned. According to the scripture says this, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So it is not guaranteed. It is not guaranteed. Sometimes the teacher can identify the experience correctly. Sometimes the teacher cannot identify the experience correctly, and then the student gets stuck. Although this student is full of potential, full of promise. If the teacher is not good, the teacher himself is stuck. The student also gets stuck. Although this student can go further, under this teacher, he or she will get stuck because cannot explain properly, only can read the book. But there are some who just listen to the book, who have followed the instructions of the book as laid down by the Buddha, by the great tradition, as laid down by the experienced teachers. They have attained some stages of enlightenment. It's possible. So it's not to say, I cannot say sincerely, I cannot say it is not possible. But it would depend on the student himself. Because there are wonderful students. There are students during the Buddha's time, I don't think now, who hear one passage and they get enlightened. And there are those who hear one passage and practice a few days or a few hours, they get enlightened. And there are those who practice for years and years and years and years, and then only get enlightened. Who go to the forest and give up everything, yeah, and then practice, and after many years, he or she gets enlightened. And there are so many different levels of accomplishment that are hidden in us that we don't know of until we meet the teacher. So there are many wonderful teachers. There are teachers who are enlightened themselves, and then sometimes we can suspect the teachers are enlightened because he has spent so many years under another enlightened teacher. So you can be sure that if the teacher's teacher is confident, your teacher is also qualified. So we look at the tradition. The tradition at SJBA, and I qualify it through the tradition of the abbot, Venerable U Nyanarangsi. Venerable U Nyanarangsi's teacher, yeah, came from or is part of a revered, respected lineage, because the teacher of the teacher is Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw. And Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw was the questioner during the 6th Buddhist Council. The councils are the great assembly where the monks will come together to re-establish the purity of the Dhamma. They will chant what they have learned. And there are those who have chanted through memory the entire teaching of the Buddha. Yeah, they are called what are they called? I can't remember that word. Yeah, they are the jewel of the Dhamma. That means they know the Dhamma by heart. There are not many of these people who memorize the Dhamma, the entire 5 Nikayas, the entire Tripitaka by heart. There are not many. Yeah, and so, but they can. They will say, in such and such a place, the Buddha said that. So during the assembly, the meeting, the questioner will question the monk who will recite. The questioner at the 6th assembly in the 1960s was the Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw. So you can be sure of his lineage, of the respect other monks have given him, or else he would not have been chosen to be the questioner. The questioner about the purity and the sanctity, authenticity of the Buddha's teachings. So both these monks, the questioner and the answerer, the person who answers, I'm very lucky to actually have met them in person. But that is lineage. We have to know who is the teacher, who is the teacher's teacher, who is the teacher's teacher, until as far as we can go so that we can establish how respectable the teacher is. So by that, you can get an understanding that this is a trustworthy teacher. Yeah. So that is a long answer. I hope it gives you an idea as to what the answer might be.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Chye. I think there are many more questions, actually, many more questions.
Yes.
Due to time constraint, we just take up one more question as a last question.
Yes.
And I convey my apology to the others. Due to time constraint, we have to stop after this last question. This last question from Sister Wendy Chiu. How not to associate your parent, husband, or wife, knowing that they are doing continuously evils and nothing can change them?
Yeah, it's a challenge. Yeah, it is a challenge. Yeah, when the son or the daughter is different from the parent, the husband is different from the wife, or the wife is different from the husband, and the brother is different from the other brothers and sisters, right? Because not all of us come into one family, or one life with the same level of understanding. So the only way we can manage it is mindfully. Yeah, bring about your mindfulness so that we don't get angry, we don't get frustrated, we don't get disheartened and give up. Yeah, and then say, I don't want to see you anymore. We can't say that to our parents, right? We can't say that to our wife or husband also. Yeah, you go away lah, because you are not enlightened. I only want to mix with enlightened people. We cannot do that. So we must maintain our patience and our mindfulness. And if we do things that are according to the Dhamma, the parents or the wife or husband will start seeing it. And they will also, maybe, I cannot guarantee, they will come around. They will say, you are different now, you know. Yeah, you are not the same. How come you always do such good things? And then you can influence the husband or the wife or the parents or the brother and sister. And in that way, your example can help to change others. But it is not always possible. So we can only be patient and be mindful. Life is not according to how we want it. Life has its own directions. So the only thing is be patient, be mindful.
Yeah. Thank you once again. Thank you to Brother Siang for the very interesting, informative, educational, and inspirational Dhamma talk, and also the excellent, enlightening answers to our questions. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Brother Tan Sang Chai, for the Dharma sharing, associating with the wise. Please help me to thank the speaker in the comments box. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, this morning we have participated in the Sunday Buddha Puja service, listening to the Dhamma talk. With the merits accrued, let us share and transferring the merits to all our living and departed relatives, families and friends, and all beings. Patidana. Akasata cha bummata devanaga mahidika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakantu lokasasanang chirang rakantu desanang chirang rakantu mang param. Ettavata cha amhehi sambadang punya sambadang sabbe deva sabbe satta sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Idang me nyadinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyadinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyadinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Imang no punya bagang Mata Pitunancha Acharyanancha Sabha Satanancha Sabha Mitanancha Sabha Nyatinancha Sabha Petanancha Sabha Devatanancha Bhajema. Imang no punya bagang sabha satanang dema sabe sata sukita hontu. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu Yava Nibbana Patiya Idang me punyang asawakaya vahang hotu. Idang me punyang nibbanasa pacayo hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, before we end, let us pay homage to the Triple Gem. Buddhang pujemi, Dhammang pujemi, Sanghang pujemi. To all devotees, thank you very much for participating. We'd like to thank the speaker, Brother Siang, the Puja leader, the moderator, and the digital team, and all those involved in this morning's Sunday Buddha Puja. We have come to the end of this 28th online Sunday Buddha Puja service. For information, there will be no Buddha Puja service next Sunday, as we are having our AGM for our society. The next Buddha Puja service will be on Sunday, 20th December. Please refer to the Facebook of your society for information of the next event. With the COVID-19 pandemic, we hope you will continue to stay safe, stay home. May you and family be safe, well, happy, and peaceful always. Sukhi hontu, goodbye, sabbe sattha sukhita hontu.
Bahong sahan semabhinim mita sayodantang ngirimi kelang udita Sase